Have you ever been in that place where you've done everything right? I mean, you prayed, you worked hard, you tried to be a good person, and you still end up with empty hands? It's a tough, tough place to be. Today, we're going to dive into what might be happening when it feels like your whole world is just falling apart, and how, maybe, just maybe, it's the start of a chapter you never saw coming.
Wow, this quote it gets it, doesn't it? That feeling of pure shock, the confusion of watching the life you so carefully built just crumble, and you have no idea why. It feels personal, it feels so unfair, and it leaves you standing there in the rubble asking, what on earth just happened?
And that's the question, isn't it? It's the one that just echoes in the silence. When you've put your trust in God, when you've had faith, and the result is this kind of loss. It's only human to ask, okay, where are you in all this pain?
Yeah, in these seasons, it's so easy to feel totally alone. You look around and it seems like everybody else is getting their miracle, while you're just stuck. And then that little voice starts to whisper, the one that says, maybe this is punishment for something you did wrong, something you don't even remember.
Okay, but right here, this is the pivot point. This is the shift in perspective that can literally change everything. What if this whole devastating season isn't a penalty? What if it's not an ending at all, but actually a preparation? This is the idea we really need to dig into. So let's break this down. Punishment. Well, that feels final, doesn't it? It says you're bad, God is mad at you, and this is the end of the line. But a process, that's totally different. A process implies you're going somewhere. It says you're not being left behind, you're being prepared. God isn't angry, he's actively working. This pain you're in, it's not your final destination. It's a transition. So, what is this preparation exactly? Well, think of it like a divine clearing out. All the things you've been praying for, that growth, those blessings, that new level, they literally can't fit into your old life. So God isn't taking things away just to hurt you. He's making room, even when it looks and feels exactly like loss. A great way to picture this is to think of a tree. For a tree to grow taller and bear more fruit, a gardener has to come in and prune it. They have to cut away branches, even healthy-looking ones, that are holding the tree back from its full potential. It looks painful, but it's all for the sake of future growth. And it's not just about cutting away, it's also about making space. It's a simple principle, really. You can't fill a cup that's already full. Sometimes, for God to give you the better, more lasting things He has for you, He first has to gently empty your hands of what you're clinging to right now. And this idea goes even deeper. If you want to build a skyscraper, you can't just start building up. You have to dig down, way down, to create a foundation that's strong enough to support the height. So when you ask God to take you higher, His first move might just be to start digging. He's building a foundation in you that can actually hold the blessing you've been asking for. But let's be real for a second. This whole process can be absolutely brutal. It creates a real identity crisis. I mean, who are you without that job title, without that relationship, without that stability you counted on? It's so much more than just losing things. It feels like you're losing yourself. You can feel invisible, forgotten, like your prayers are just bouncing off the ceiling. And yet, and this is so important, that very place of weakness, that feeling of having absolutely nothing left to give, that is the exact place where God does His most powerful work. It's not about your strength. It's never been about your strength. It's about your surrender. Look, this isn't just some nice quote to make you feel better. This is a promise. It's a spiritual law. The very thing, the brokenness, that makes you feel like God is a million miles away is actually the thing that draws Him closer than ever. He is right there with you, in the middle of it. I mean, if you want the ultimate example of this, you just have to look at the story of Job. This man lost everything, and I mean everything. His money, his health, his kids, his reputation. But in that season of absolute nothing, God was writing a story of faith that would last for thousands of years. And here's the key. His season of nothing had to come before his season of restoration, where God gave him back double for his trouble. So why does it hurt so bad? Because the cutting is deep. This isn't just a surface level trim. This is like spiritual surgery. God is going deep to remove things we don't even realize are holding us back. Things like pride, or depending too much on other people, or maybe a faith that was just a little too shallow to handle a real storm. Jesus himself used this exact imagery. He said that the Father prunes the branches that are already bearing fruit so they can bear even more fruit. See, pruning isn't a sign of rejection, it's a sign of refinement. It means God sees potential in you for so much more. He's not getting rid of you, He's investing in you. So, how do we actually walk through this? What does this surrender look like day to day? Well, first, don't rush it. Give yourself grace to grieve and to heal. Second, stop trying to force open the doors that have closed. If they closed, there's a reason. Instead, try to honor this season of tearing down. And finally, trust. Trust that the same God who allows things to be torn down is the master architect who always builds something better in its place.
And hey, if this season feels like it's dragging on forever, maybe it's because God's not doing a quick patch-up job. Good, solid construction takes time. He's arranging things you can't see, preparing you for what's ahead. The reason it's taking so long is because this time, whatever He's building in your life, it's being built to last.
You know, this really redefines what faith is, doesn't it? Especially when you're in the middle of a storm. Faith isn't about having no questions or no doubts. It's about choosing to stand still and trust God even when the questions are screaming and there are no easy answers in sight. It's just being able to say, God, I don't get it, but I trust you anyway.
So as we start to land this plane, I need you to hold on to this one thing with everything you've got. This season of loss, this chapter that hurts so much, it feels like the end. I know it does. But it was never, ever meant to be the end of your story. In fact, it's something more. It's the chapter where you finally had to let go of the pen, and God picked it up and started writing it Himself. This isn't the story of your failure. It's the story of His faithfulness. So I'm just gonna leave you with this question to chew on. What if this ending that you're grieving so deeply, what if it's actually the beginning you've been praying for all along, just wrapped in a package you didn't recognize? Please remember this. You are not forgotten. You are being refined. The God who is with you in this fire is shaping you into something stronger, something more beautiful than you can imagine. Just hold on.